Hello everyone, it's Jasmine and welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I've done a video, but I'm really excited to be part of this blog hop for Maaike, and have to forgive me, I have a cold so I'm a little froggy, but let's jump into the video. We are going to do some watercolor and some Copic coloring, and I wanted to try out these pearlized watercolors. On the black one, I will use those, but they're really fun. So I've got this honeybee stamp set, and I've got the matching dies to go with it. We're going to use some Strathmore watercolor paper and these fun paints by Fine-Tec. And I've got my Daniel Smith watercolors in addition to the Fine-Tec ones because the pearlized ones show up better on dark cardstock. So I'm going to use like the goldy tones in that second one for adding a little bit of shimmer. And we're using the Misty with some Ink on 3 blackout ink. This is a hybrid ink, so it's suitable for every coloring medium that you want to use. So watercolors, Copic markers, colored pencils. You can use this ink with all of them, and you won't have any running or smudging or ruining of your projects. I love this stamp. It's so cute. So now that I've got that, I'm going to tape it down on the top and bottom on my board. Actually, this is the Tim Holtz glass mat that I really like. It's a good size. It's easy to clean. Nothing stains it. So I've got some yellow painter's tape. This is a lower tack tape. But it will tear your paper if you're not careful with it. So just kind of a cautionary tale there. So I'm going to tape it top and bottom, and then I'll end up trimming those edges off. Because like I said, this is a 5x7 piece of watercolor paper. So it's a little big for your card front, unless you want to make a 5x7 card. You can always do that. So I'm going to wet the whole surface. We're going to do a wet on wet technique. And this I put a little bit of water on each of the colors that I might use, just to get it to soften up a little bit. And so we're going to go in with water over the surface of the paper. And this is a watercolor paper, so it can handle the water. It's designed to do that. But cardstock is not necessarily designed to handle a lot of water. So because this is a heavy moisture technique with watercolors, you do want to use a good quality watercolor paper. And Strathmore is a good brand. It's a good mid-grade quality. Not the best, but not the worst either. I'm just going in some greens and blues, some teal a little bit, and just kind of letting it do its thing, letting it blend. And with the wet on wet, you can get both soft and hard edges with this. So it just depends on the look that you're going for. And if you want more hard edges, then you're going to want to just wet small sections at a time, add your paint, let it dry, and go in and do layers. So I've got some of that metallic paint, and I'm just going to tap the brush over the top so I get like little speckles, little splatters. So I filled up my brush, and now I'm just going to tap it against my finger to get the droplets. And it creates a really beautiful finish on the paper when it's dry. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. I tend to prefer letting my watercolor paper air dry because the heat drying can warp it a little bit, whereas if you air dry watercolor paper, it's not so bad. So with the second card, we're going to use some black basil licorice cardstock. And I'm using the die from my stamp set just to place it because this is a smaller piece of cardstock. It's 4.25 by, 4.25 by 5.5. And we are going to heat emboss this. So Make sure you're using your anti-static tool. I've got a little tool that I was just using with a brush tip to it, but there's also a little baggie that you can use too, and I have both. I'm going to use some Versamark, stamp that down a couple times. And then we'll go in with some Ranger Liquid Platinum Embossing Powder. And the embossing powder will help stand up against that pearlized watercolor that we're going to use on the black cardstock. Always loved heat embossing. It's one of the first techniques I fell in love with when I started stamping way back in the day. Just magical. And I love the finish of this liquid platinum. It's so pretty. So I'm going to tape that down too. Just because this is cardstock, it will warp a lot more if you don't tape it down than any watercolor papers. So there's the Fine-Tec pearlescent colors. We're going to use the purple, blue, teal, and there's like a platinum color in there too. It's not silver and it's not gold. It's like in between. Oh, there's the purple. I love that purple. So pretty. And with some blue. And I'm not being precise with this, as you can see. I'm just kind of flooding the paper with the colors, getting them to blend together, kind of getting them smushed. And there's that kind of platinum-y color in between. Then I will dry this and add a second layer. And when you're heat drying anything, you want to make sure that you're moving your gun quite a bit and have a good distance away from your project so that you don't overheat the embossing on there, because it will sink into the paper and then kind of lose its shape a little bit. So going back in with a second layer of color, because I wanted a few more hard edges with this one than with the first one. So I'm going to try that again. Excuse me. And now onto our little image. I'm going to do some Copic coloring. And this little guy is from Rubbernecker Stamps, and his name is Epstein. And he's just so stinking cute. I love him. He's adorable. So we're going to go in with Copics, like I said, and we're going to color him. And I'm using Bristol cardstock to color on. This is my favorite cardstock to use with Copic markers. They just blend really easily and just makes it nice because the marker doesn't drag and it doesn't sit on top of the paper too much. It really absorbs nicely. And so for the owl, we're using E53, 17, and 35. So I wanted to give him some warmer red-brown tones. And I really love this combination of colors. And it's a small image, so it colors pretty quickly. I think it took me probably between 10 and 15 minutes to color these guys. And I gave him green eyes just because it would be fun. I did look at Google Images for different owls to see kind of what the different species eyes looks like, and I don't know what specific species he is. We're going to call him a barn owl because I had a barn owl growing up in one of the pine trees behind my house. And I used to just watch him and listen to him, and he hooted, and he would hoot to me when I talked to him. So it was fun. But long story short, I did not find any naturally green-eyed owls online. They were mostly golden eyes or brown eyes. So with this version, we're going to do the golden eyes. And we're going to give his feathers more of a sandy tone rather than the red-brown. So he's going to be a bit lighter. And we're using E50, E34, and E53 for his feathers. When my husband and I were dating, he took me on a date to the zoo. And there was a rather large screech owl. The screech owls are smaller, but he was a pretty big one. So we're walking by his exhibit, and I'm looking at him, and I start to hoot at him. And he actually responded with a hoot, and I was so excited. So now when we go see him, I try to make him hoot at me all the time. So these little owls have reminded me of some good memories. And they're just so majestic birds. They're beautiful. So going in with his eyes, I want to give him that golden tone to his eyes. So we're using YR15 and Y17. And I do leave a section towards the top of the iris to give a little bit of light. Just to give him a little bit more life. And then RV09 and 14 for the little heart he's holding. Cute little heart. So there they are together. I love them. They're so cute. And then I will cut these out using the matching die with my Big Shot. So there he has Rubbernecker stamps, Epstein. And I'm going to use 2 of the coordinating dies that go with the stamp set, and it says Friends and Gang. And this holographic paper I have here is from packaging from a set of makeup brushes that I bought. It was just too pretty to waste. I'm like, this would be perfect for die cutting. So, you never know where you're going to find craft supplies. So I've cut those out, and I have put the cards together, and I've added some little thing sequins. And I really love how these turned out. So I will leave a link to the next person in the blog hop at the end. All my supplies are listed. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.